Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever and wherever you are, my friends. Alex here, getting ready to jump into our next episode of how to make a Celeste Platformer Part 2. So, if you're joining us in the live stream, welcome everyone. If you are watching this later, thank you for checking out this video. I will be editing this content into some bite-sized tutorials in YouTube. And then hopefully we'll be done, I think, here in the next week on this project, and then we'll move into the bridge between platformer and Metroidvania, and then we'll probably move on into another category. As you may have noticed, we have some art changes. Wah! I decided that I wanted to go back and, hey, what's up, Bo? I wanted to go back and do some changes to the art, freshen it up a little bit, make it a little bit more me. Took some inspiration from some old games that I enjoy, if you guys can see the Sonic influence. Well, growing up, I played a lot of Mario and a lot of Sonic, mostly Mario, but when my family was over, we had a split house, so when my other siblings were over, we'd play a lot of Sonic together, but I grew up playing mostly Mario. But I wanted to add a little bit of that Sonic influence into my identity and brand. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the changes. I got a lot of animations coming and some cool channel art and things, but we'll get into that another time. I don't want to waste anybody's time here today, and my time is sensitive today too, so we're gonna just kind of jump into it. Let's get it done. All right, what do we have here? So, where we left off last time. Now, I've done a little bit of work since the last time we worked on our Celeste Platformer. I have gone through and added some more efficient climbing. You can now jump from the walls. You can, if you're holding the right keys, maybe I can do it. Come on. I think I need to work on how the wall climbing works. For some reason, I can't climb this wall. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm not touching the right keys in the right... Oh, there we go. All right, we got to fix that, but... Oh, you can only see... You're right. You are right. Hey, Bo, thanks for letting me know that, bud. There we go. There we are. Okay, so to go back to what I was saying, we've got the climbing system in functionality. We have some wall slides, and now we can jump off the wall. I've also done some sprite updates that I want to introduce you guys to. So before we had this bearded character with a bit of a pompadour style haircut, and what I wanted to do is bridge us over into maybe refining our story a little bit. So far what I have is I have this mock-up done, and it's very similar to the original screenshot that I had done for this this tutorial. But what I wanted to do was introduce you to the character for this game concept. So we have the original up here, and the new player sprite for talking conversations, and you know, that 32 by 32 bust shot for dialogue that'll be in the game. And then as well, I went through and added a new detail to the player. So transitioning from, let's see, let me gotta find my layers. They're not labeled, unfortunately. There we go. So I'm gonna just pluck him out of there. I'm gonna move his hand out for now. There we go. Oops. So yeah, this is a bit more of our style. We stylized the character just a little bit more, added some details, and I think the direction I'm going to be moving in this platformer series is our player yet to be named. So if you guys got any ideas, throw them out there, either in the Discord or here in the live stream. I'd love to hear it. We're gonna name this lad, but effectively, he starts at his home, and we begin the day with his acceptance into the monastery, or his, I would say his warriors or person's dang it, what is the like coming to age story, right? And so this character is maybe was an orphan at the monastery, or has been living there as a young man, and he's trying to become a member of this monastery society, or what's going on, or whatever's going on. And so he leaves his home to embark on an adventure where, as part of his coming to age story, he delves into the ancient libraries of this monastery, and it's kind of a rite of passage, if you will. And so he's got to go in there and collect lost lore. And so I've worked towards kind of creating this scroll as a collectible. Perhaps we'll shrink it down in the engine to make it look right, but some sort of sprite there to represent those collecting of lore. Hey, Kagamora, what's going on? Kazuki, hello, how are you? Kagamori? I'm not sure exactly how to say that. Bo asks, and I think this is a relevant question. I'm glad you asked this, Bo. Bo asks, how... What's up, Clayton? Okay, so Bo asks, how come you're not doing the white player outline in the Gdevelop editor rather than in Pixel? Does the fact that you're doing pixel art complicate it? So basically what happens, as you can see here, we end up, when I use the in-engine white outline, it anti-aliases because of the aliasing that we have pre-set up in our editor. And so we end up getting this blended outline to alias around our player if we use their internal. It's only set to 1 pixel too. And so it's not like the extra padding is being created by anything else. And so the reason why I am going to start doing the white outline in our actual player sprite is because it won't do that. It doesn't alias that way. There might be a setting to change that, but not that I'm aware of. It would be much more convenient to just do the outline in the engine, which is what I have been doing for this character in this tutorial thus far. But it doesn't have any of the other bits. So, or like, it just looks weird. The white alias, because especially if you look at the sweat, it makes the sweat look like a cube. Like I'm throwing cubes out of my head. But the reality is, in the art, it doesn't look like that at all. And in fact, I can show you the climb animation in preview down here. And you can see that let me move that. It looks very different. So, working on that. We'll get there. I'm not sure exactly what to do quite yet. I'm not sure if just some changes to the editor is going to work or what, but here it is. Let's see. Oh, I got some mentions that I'm trying to look at. All right. So yeah, and those who are just joining us, I received some news this morning, some pretty awesome news. I was invited into the advocate program for Gdevelop for my contributions in live streams and in video content. Recently, I released something on itch. If you guys are interested in learning how a super in-depth inventory system works, and basically the only inventory system you'll ever need, you could check that out on my itch page, which will be in the future in every link on Discord, or in our live streams in the description box below. But I don't have it up now, but I believe I posted it on Discord, and you can check that out if you want. It's for free. It's free on itch. So I'll be releasing other art assets and things, and eventually the asset pack that we're developing here on stream will be available on the itch asset store. This will be a paid pack, but the game will also be available for playing on the Gdevelop store when I'm done. Woo! Thanks for the subscription. That startled me, as it usually does. Hey, I appreciate the subscription. Kagamori. Yeah, I don't... I'm gonna call you Kazuki. No, anyways, so I think the next stages that I want to add into the project is when the player dies, I want them to explode, kind of like they do in Mega Man and in Celeste. And then I want to rotate the orbs from the position of your death over to the checkpoint or the respawn for each room, and then revive the player just like they do. And so it's kind of a seamless transition after death. I don't want to bring you back to the game screen. I want you to really feel like we're just resetting you in that level. It's not really a big deal when you die, because you're going to die a lot in this game. If we're following the Celeste style of platform development. Oh, excuse me. So let's see. Let's go back into our project, and I think before we replace the player's sprite to the updated version, I want to add those last little features. So I think for one, we're gonna tune up the wall climb, because I can't seem to grab this wall very well, and I'm curious. Oh, there we go. You have to hold shift at just the right angle to like grab the wall. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, or why. Ugh, there we go. Why it works sometimes and not other times. Yeah. Yeah. Jump, leap, grab. There we go. Hey! I'm gonna assume that's Remy. Yeah, what's going on, Remy? Remy? Ramy? I'm not sure how to say that name, actually. Not Remy, it's Ramy. Remy. Rama. Anyways, hello. Super happy to have you here, man. Let's see. Sorry for the question, but as I just joined, is it possible to do a quick review of what's been worked on and for what? Yeah, so the project thus far is just been 1 day of development. I'll show you the back end. Moving over into, I'm going to go ahead and hide the, there we go. We're going to switch over to this format so you can just see the editor. We have some basic settings in our overflow. We have, every time I do a development, I teach finite state machines. So if I press the plus button on my editor, and what I'm going to do actually real quick is move this over and move this out. There we are. And now we can see our finite state machine in awesome development, in working condition. So we can see our player navigating through the different states. And so that's what our code basically does up to this point. And you can see all of that here in our player finite state machine. And so I'm particularly organized in everything that I do because I have OCD problems. And I find that doing player finite state machines not only, of course, gives you finite control over your player and the development of whatever it is that you're doing, but also it's visually stimulating for me. It's very organized, so I could just kind of decompress all of my moves and what the player can and can't do, and then just very simply go into each of those scripts. Yeah, please. Proper pronunciation is would be great. All right, so we're gonna actually change the can climb even faster. We're gonna move it down to a 0.125 timer. So every time we are climbing and we jump off, it'll reset a climber to allow us climb again. Because right now, as I currently have it, as I'm climbing, if I was to press the wall jump and let go of the wall climb feature, it wasn't. Well, I just jumped out of the map. R to restart. There we go. But it wasn't quite grabbing the wall the way I expected, and we're having a little bit of gripping issues, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I feel like I just made it worse, actually. Huh. Alright. Maybe that's not long enough. Yeah. 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 Alright. We're gonna work on that. We have this lovely extension that's not available yet to the public, but it will be. This is the Wall Jump and Climb extension developed by our very own Reborn. And so if you have met Reborn already, or if you haven't met Reborn already, they're awesome. They spend a lot of time in our Discord. But Reborn is a master programmer and helped develop an extension to kind of to work off of the advanced jump features. And so this does some of the, it doesn't do the coyote time and those sort of things, which you can add with the advanced jump mechanics. It does, however, do a lot of really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So looking forward to helping get that out into the community. So thank you, Reborn, for all of your hard work in that department. And so we can go into our player and go check out the behaviors. And if we scroll down here to the bottom, we can kind of configure our wall climb. There's a few different options. And for easeability, rather than keeping to hold, I think we're going to press once to climb. And hopefully that'll fix my my issue here. Yeah, they do not like Alt Tab. That is a fact. Let's see. Oh, that was interesting. We went into the wall climb mechanic, but we didn't actually grab the wall. Interesting. Oh, much better. Okay, that's better. Okay, maybe that was all I needed to do. Yeah, alright. You also didn't really, you didn't give me the pronunciation to your name. You said you were going to, but then didn't. Is there a way we can fix that? I don't know what to call you. Oh, God. Oh, I'm choking over here. Alright. So in the climb script, we're going to disable the actions for climbing true. Oh, you posted a link? Oh, it doesn't show in the chat. It erased it. Send that to me on Discord, yo. Come on, guy. What are you doing? All right. Let's see here. So we're going to change the transition for I want to say it's the jump script. Yeah, we no longer want to check to see if our player's climbing, so we can just disable this and delete that for now. Actually, we'll move it into here because we don't need that to be true. I like the roll of that. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. The traditional way of saying Rami, it's like Rami. I like it. It's a beautiful name. I just have No clue how to roll my R like that. Is it Kage? Kagi? I'm not good at like uh yeah, no. I got nothing. I got nothing. I literally got nothing. Oh yeah, absolutely. The Discord is okay. Oh, Cage. I see. But with a K for extra cool factor. Okay. I I digress. Sorry. Okay. So what was I gonna do? Okay, so we also we have dashing in our game. I forgot about that. So we can jump dash and jump dash wall climb. So jump dash wall climb. Jump dash wall. Oh, maybe. Okay, we're gonna get there. I swear. Let me. It's like I'm wet, and it doesn't want me to climb that side of the wall, but I can sure climb this side of the wall. Oh, no, that worked. Hmm. Okay, we're gonna troubleshoot that later. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Um, but we are in the functional stage of this, so I think the next thing to do. So we have dashing. Oh, guys, I am so sorry. I'm just gonna leave this open. That's it. I'm sorry. I did it again. You're right. If anything, if I can just pull the bottom of the screen out, because you don't need to see all of my, all of this. Can we? How do? Come on. There's got to be a way. Alt-click? There it is. Holy moly. We're just going to chop the bottom of that screen off just a little bit and move you guys down and hide that one. You're going to see a little bit of black bars. I apologize, but I think it's better than you seeing all of my pop-ups. And this way we can guarantee that you guys see everything. So, yeah, in our game, I think that we're to the point where, one, we're going to implement LDTK. So we're going to be implementing maps developed in LDTK, ported into Gdevelop, and then we're going to be using our these constructed platforms and wall sprites, effectively, the collisions, there we go, to manage all of our games. So basically what we'll do is we'll design the map, import the map, and then use its the framework of that picture effectively, because essentially all it does is import a PNG, and then it allows us to very conveniently move through those developments. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, so I'm using the dynamic water extension, which is beautiful. And what we're going to be doing is doing a lot of that. I think, what is it? Into the Kingdom, For the Kingdom. It's a side scroller where there's like animals. You're on like a horse. I've only seen pictures of it. I haven't actually played it, but I think you guys might know what I'm talking about. But they have a really cool water effect where everything reflects off the water, and so we're going to be emulating that a little bit in our design. And in our tile map for the player, let me shrink this back down into art. I've started working on the development. So in Metroidvanias, it's very common for the game. Well, so what I've done is I've added them to a group. So they all have it, but then I check the group and then just make sure that the group reflects off the water. But because I use the reflection extension already. But anyways, so in Metroidvanias, it's very common that it's like it's genre defining almost, that going to the right is progression in a Metroidvania, in a platformer, right? And even in Celeste, as you begin the game, you start on the left side of the screen and you move to the right. You start in your house or whatever, the highway, moving towards this lady's at the base of the mountain. And so we're going to subvert expectations here, and we're going to begin our story by moving to the left. And so our player is going to start in their house to the left of the game world, and they're going to leave their house or wherever they, whatever the starting building or thing is, the cottage or whatever. And we're going to move towards the monastery, right? The church, whatever, the orphanage, whatever it's going to be, the library. Um, and and then once we get there, we learn a little bit more about this dungeon element, which is which is the like crypts to the catacombs of the monastery, and in there is like lost old technology and things. So once we get to this level, we're going to drop down and then move back to the right as we explore. And actually, we're going to go right and down for most of the game, which is a little bit different than the usual up format. And so because of this, we're going to do a lot of gravity jumps, and there's going to be a lot of coyote time and things like that. Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. So this is kind of the format that we're going to be going in because it follows the traditional flow of these style of games. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a method similarly to what we did in the developing a um, the Vampire Survivors style of game, the wave defense that we were working on. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the same technique that Helper Wesley uses. And it looks something like this. And so we have a marker on each of our levels for a top, down, left, and right location in our map. Oops, let's change that to like red. And what will happen is for each room format, because this is a platformer, right? And so we're going to have an entry point in our room, and our entry point might be decided by one of these many factors. Let's say this is whether this is a top-down room in the traditional like Legend of Zelda style format like this. So whether the format is that Binding Isaac Legend of Zelda style or anything like that, you have those four doorways, and we can do the same thing in a platformer. And so we can, based on where the exits are, the locations of these exits in each of these rooms, we can then we build a layout in Gdevelop that is specifically for that style of room. So rooms that are right-sided but have no exits is one category. Right-sided with a top. And as our map generates procedurally through each stage of this format, we can put limitations on, okay, from X number of squares away from the beginning square, start transitioning into these squares that go downward or less rooms. So the more levels we complete, the harder and longer these dungeons get using some sort of format like this. And it's a very clean way of just implementing not procedural generation, but randomly selected generation from preset tiles and assets. And so I've kind of developed the tile set that will do the transition between the fields and the monastery tile set as we get closer to that building. I want to give it kind of this overgrown look because there's not enough monks to keep, like, the reason why the player is doing this is because it's such a rural place, and it's so far away from humanity that they kind of have to be self-efficient, and these scrolls are some valuable part of that transaction. And so this character who was raised here is now wanting to become a member and is going to go through these trials to become a member and, take care of things like moss overgrown, helping the monastery. So, yeah, that's the story. That's the development. I did all of this off stream yesterday in preparation for this, so I think I'm just trying to decide what the next step really is, other than doing some more tile setting for this game, which you guys can see the tile set that's forming over here. We've got a nice transitional tile and some other stuff, but let's see. Mechanically speaking, let's work on the death of our player. That's the next step. So before we do anything else, we need to create these spikes. And there's a couple ways that we can go about doing this. We could literally just make you know, some crazy looking spike thing and be like, whoa, all right, and be like, that's good enough, you know. Obviously that's huge, but the idea is there. But I think I want to go a little bit more stylized. I know that like Celeste, I believe, just does like they use an 8x8 tile set, and I need to make sure I'm actually in the tile set area. So they use spikes that kind of look just like this, and I think that is lame. I feel like that's really lazy. I respect the development of their game. It's a beautiful game, but come on, guys. You're telling me that that's the best that you could do? Little nubby spikes? Come on, come on, come on, come on. We can do better than that. Especially for how like frozen and awful that the mountain is supposed to be. I felt like ice shards or something a little bit bigger. Okay, would have been even something. Okay, this doesn't translate very well, but I think we can work on this a little bit. Let's see. There, every pixel does matter, especially when you're starting to work in a canvas size that is 8x8. Silhouettes is like the only way to really go about this, and I'm wondering if pungent spikes might not be a better, like, having a spike system that leaves the original tile. Maybe let's take a look here. So imagine here for a moment that we have like a basic spear. This is a terrible example of a spear, I think, but right, let's cut this down and do something like this. And maybe it might pop out of the floor, some sort of mechanism. We'll add shadows and stuff later. Yeah, but effectively, we start with kind of something like this. We're gonna run into some issues here if we don't butt them up together. Now I understand why they did what they did. But I think we can figure this out. Especially if we change the spears to be more linear and less wide. But effectively, we could take this and then extend them up. Let's say they grow, right? When they stab you or whatever. Because, thinking about it in this game, we're going into like a catacomb, and so having wall spikes and stuff seems appropriate, but at the same time not, because it's supposed to be like the monks live here, Hey, what's up, Noxy? Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I think spike sideways would be a good... I think these look fine as they are. Trap knives, exactly. You're going to get shivved if you try to jump on these guys. But yeah, I would think some sort of like monastery trap system. So I'm thinking of pitfalls. Like, so what would be... think whenever I do a design element and I'm trying to incorporate something into my game, one of the things that I like to do is imagine what else might be in the game world. And I think that because this monastery, right, it's kind of a rite of passage, but also it's been booby-trapped because it's ancient knowledge, it's important. So the ancestors before them, maybe they were under attack and they had to hide all of the old technology, and the monastery has only recently been running, maybe like a generation or two, And so they don't have all of the old technology or the old scrolls that they used to have in the monastery. And so they send you down into this world. And so I'm thinking about like what might be down there. They set up traps. uh Toilets are important, don't forget toilets. Yeah, yeah, gotta go to the bathroom somewhere, right? And then but and so what sort of traps might we find? And I was thinking about tombs, and I was thinking about uh like Egyptian stuff. And so one of the things that we might see in these sort of games is like Indiana Jones style rock falls. So rocks might fall from the ceiling. Looking back at games from the '90s, we could look at Mario and other games like that, where they have creatures that jump, and or not jump, but that slam the ground and then move back up. For the life of me, thwomps, I believe is what they're called. Um, and so I think that having some sort of, let's say we use the platforms, for example, and there maybe up here in this in our cave system, there might be a platform uh, that holds the rock in place. So we could come in here and design like a little boulder thing. Uh, we're gonna dip into let's see, turn that color to that, turn that to this, and then maybe add a little bit of rock polish, add a little bit of rocky. And so our rock might be chilling up here, and then all of a sudden you walk underneath it and the boulder falls and crushes your head. They do something like that in Celeste, where they have ice blocks that are just chilling, and you might not notice that they're there, and then suddenly it falls and crushes your noggin. And so I think drop uh, I think obvious traps, of course, is really important in a genre like this, especially for the style that we're aiming for. Death traps like this, pungent traps like this, and then I like the idea, what Cage just said, is having maybe some sort of visual representation on a wall that there's going to be a trap there, and if you get too close, it'll activate the trap and either throw something at you, maybe, like an arrow trap. Here, let's work on an arrow real quick. I think an arrow would be more appropriate. And arrows are a bit more... they have flights, so let's see. An arrow would come off kind of like this. It looks like a rocket ship as it's supposed to. You gotta remember this is 8x8, so there's only so much information that we can convey, but I don't think that that's the right way to do it. Let's see. Yeah, it does. It does. Even if it's just sort of like maybe a bug or something could come out. That would be interesting. I could have swear I just drew a bunch of arrows somewhere, and it would be nice to not have to constantly... Was it in my to dust? No. Why would it be in to dust? It would be in... Not an afterthought. I think it's in folklore. Aha! Aha! Other game sprites I'm working on. This is for the top-down zombie survival. I'm working on doing something really interesting with this project. I'm looking forward to sharing more of that with you guys later. But I'm gonna steal my arrow so I don't have to do it again. It is in a much bigger format. It's more I think it'll be appropriate for this tile. Where can you see my projects? Discord, my YouTube channel. I'm still getting started on getting organized. So, honestly, I think that an arrow like this is most appropriate for the tile set that we're using. Just this like spear projectile that comes flying out of the wall. So we have like a wall trap. Maybe we even have two. And they shoot out these projectiles. Which, in comparison to the player, right? If we go back to our tile set, okay, we're closing this down. We don't need all of this open. If we go back to our player and we look at it, it's really not that big compared to our player. And this is like perfect, I feel like, for the genre. But we may add in archery, more archery based things. But I think that something to this size would be more or less you could jump over it and it wouldn't collide with your player. Hey, I appreciate you hanging out. I really do. And then Clayton, I think for the most part, I'm gonna in this particular development, we're going to avoid um doing anything that involves monsters. I want this game to be monsterless to really emphasize the Celeste development. So there's going to be lots of obstacle based things, lots of jumping and navigating and using those abilities, but it's just a rage based development. So it's just going to stress you out every time you play, and that's what we're going for. Yeah. So we have our death animations. Let's get those into the game. I honestly I haven't played it either. I just downloaded it. Well, okay, I did play it for about 10 minutes to realize I am gonna get frustrated by that game. But that's okay. Yeah, I really want these to be minimal. I don't want you to feel like you can see them coming. I am gonna borrow my arrow, and we're gonna use this in something else. The really cool thing about arrows like this, and even mechanically speaking, because of how long and like how the element is designed, we could very well do something like this where we have let's move this to here, and then we'll build a wall. And then what we can do is use the uh, there we go. Basically, we can do this format, and change the layers to location, and then we can use this as a platform, right? So maybe if our player does, if I come into my previous project into the folklore bundle, and I take like the bow, and we do give the player a bow at some point because it's the same. We're in the same sprite scale, so he does look like he could have a bow if we needed to. But one of the game mechanics could very well be a an arrow shoot mechanic, where then once they stick to the wall, you can jump on them, which would allow you to traverse terrain a little bit differently. But because we can already climb, it makes it kind of redundant. So we don't need a system like that. But if I was developing something differently, like a Metroidvania, maybe I would do a mechanic like that. So, anyways, I think that we have what we need for now. So let's get in here and clean up our tile set. Let's get removed the things that we don't need anymore. Where are you? There it is. Okay. Let's see here. So now that we have our traps more or less designed, let's flip this guy around. Let's see, is this the right? There it is. We're going to come back to here. And we're going to follow the same format as our other ones, just to make it uniform. And that's good enough. So now we have our wall spikes. I want to make a transition tile. So we have the double together. We have one on the bottom, and now we have one on the top. And this will allow us to do some tile setting later on to make sure that we get a nice spread of spikes, and make sure that we can fit it on every platform type. So now they'll fit on, if we do it right, we can see how they're going to fit onto tiles. So that'll work as a death spike. We're going to do the same thing for this. So we'll do one on this side, and we'll do one on that side. And then we're just going to move these over so they're not touching or overlapping with any of my grass tiles, because they're in the same tile set area. Layer. There we go. Okay, so there we are. We've got our sprites. We've got a new projectile point, a wall trap. We've got the one thing that I think I do want that we don't currently have, which would just irritate a player, and that's why I want to do it, is one of those. I want to use the linking tool, and we're going to build a trap that is like a ball that swings at the player. So if you are underneath it, there is no way to avoid this. It's going to smack you in the head, and or knock you backwards. So it'd be really fun to have these sort of booby traps. That's what I said, booty traps. I think he says booby traps, but data. Anyways, stretching. I'll tell you what, guys. The last few days, I have had very sleepless nights. I've been working very hard on trying to become a Gdevelop advocate. That I have foregone my sleep to finish some projects that I was working on. And then I was talking to my friend about how little sleep I had, and he goes, "You know what? You know what you sound like?" I'm like, "What? What's that?" He goes, "A game developer." I was like, "Shut up." You're absolutely right, but yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, that's just the way it goes, man. You develop all these things, you get, it's tiring work, but it's really fulfilling stuff. So, at least for me. Um, Honestly, I kind of want to just like, there we go. Yeah, that'll look nice. Uh, this ball swinging mechanic though we'll work on later. Let's stop what we're doing. Get these added to our tile set before I break anything else. I also made thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your comment. I know I know you saw it. You predicted it coming. And you and I had talked about it previously about my interest in doing it. So I do appreciate the guidance and help. I do. Uh, we're in this journey together, my friends, and I'm looking forward to the friendships and other cool stuff that we're all gonna do together. So that's pretty neat. I think what I'm doing here, just that I'm sure people are like, "What is he doodling?" Uh, I want to add a few more rocks, and so when this falls, it feels more organic. So what we can do is add physics to this, even if it's just to these rocks. And then when we give them the platform behavior, and so they have gravity, right, like a player, and then they'll just drop whenever we open their whatever it is that's keeping them in place. That's one way of doing it, anyways. We could just apply physics as well. But I just want to add a couple of rocks in a very simple sort of way, or give off the idea that there is rock. Uh, there we go. And now when it falls, well, yeah. I mean, the nice thing is, in the future, if you record your content, then later on, even if there's no one watching on stream, or even if you just I'm sorry you got sick. That does suck. I don't like being sick at all, and influenza is a big deal. But even if you do record instead of streaming, you could always go back and re-edit that stuff and do voiceovers or whatever. That's what I tend to do. But yeah, and I wanted it to feel like there was more than one rock falling. It feels weird to just have this element that feels like, from like a realistic standpoint, a single rock isn't really a big deal. But when there's a dozen rocks falling at your head, you don't really have a whole lot of choice. A lay lover, welcome. I think that's how you say your name. But yeah, I didn't want it to feel so sparse and barren, and I think that just something like this would be enough to really sell the idea. So we're just going to move these rocks out so we can copy them into a separate tile. And then because I'm using Pixel Edit, we can press the Control and click button and copy these tiles. I need to do some organization in here pretty soon because I'm running out of tile space, but we're just going to add a couple blank rows of tiles. We're going to zoom out here. And then let's get organized here. So let's control click, and we can start building our tile set out. And control clicking just adds this to the adds a tile set. So I mean that's pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to explain that to you, but in case I do, we can tile these like this. And the interesting thing is, because I'm using 8.5, or the resolution is the same here as it is in our game, I don't technically need to use tiled. I could just import this, just like this. So using tiled allows me to auto tile map, but the beauty of using something like Pixel Edit is it does the same thing. You can import the picture as a sprite. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. There are definite advantages in terms of organization purposes to use LDTK, but you could do it like this and build your tile map and build your actual scene and then export that, and then behind it put the collisions that are supposed to be there. But I want there to be Z order depth. So like I want the player to walk behind this. I want the player to walk behind this. And so we are going to go through the arduous process of actually doing the requirements for Gdevelop to export this as a tile set or sell it as a tile set later on. And so I can't use LDTK in that process. You have to do it all within Gdevelop to make it Gdevelop friendly, which makes me a sad boy, but it is what it is. Anyways, so now that we've got all of those in place, we can just shift left click with the tile set tool, and then we still have the tiles. It does this without deleting them. So now we can just go through and also grab our rocks and move them to an appropriate location. So now we have rocks in every corner, and then we could do the 4-part big rock and put it right here. There we go. And now we can shift click and remove all that. So now we have our spikes, we have our death animations. I think we're good to go. Yeah. So let's do a tile set example where we have these. So we're gonna add these back to our game. I'm gonna go shift to G to bring back open our grid. And what's really cool about Pixel Edit, one, we need to move these guys down, is that we can double click. We're going to remove the background, and then we can export selected. So now I can go into our lore asset pack, and now we're going to create a new folder to keep organized, and we're going to call this tile set. Oh, I was going to call it tile set. And then we're going to do tile set spikes. And then inside of here, we're going to go spike lower. And then all we got to do is click save. Now we can click here. And now that it's selected with a double click, we can say spike double and click save. And then spike upper, top, whatever. Save that as well. And then we could do spike bottom right. I almost did left. So we could save that. Spike bottom double. And spike bottom left. So now that we have those sprites, we can make a single sprite entity that controls all of those. Easy peasy. And then we need to export our player's animation. So I already made these as animations inside of Gdevelop, which makes it super easy to export. All we got to do is go File, Export, Animation. We can do it as a GIF, but we want to use frames. And we're going to select the death frame. And it'll be lore death 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's lore underscore whatever the animation is. And then this actually helps us build up the frames necessary. So rather than Sprite, in the way that Sprite exports, I find that Pixel Edit is most convenient for building the format you need for Gdevelop's backend. So we're going to do lore, and then death, all of those. But we're going to go into lore sprites player section, so that's perfect. It's actually not in the same location as lore asset pack. Uh-oh. I accidentally saved the other stuff in a different folder. That's all right. I'll move it all into one space. Because I'm Alex, you're a goober. I did this to myself. Oh well. It's fine. It's fine. All right. It's death, and then we'll do orbs, and then we'll also do revive. There we go. Oh, I saved all of that as Xtel. What's going on, man? Gabriel. Geometry dash? What do you mean? Do we have a dash? We do have a dash. Okay. So, yeah, let's go back into our game and let's work on these. So we're going to add a sprite for, and this is going to be the spikes sprite. Import image. And then we're just going to go back to the G drive. And I put those under asset packs, lore, tile set. And we're going to rip these out and move them back into my YouTube section, lore, and we're going to create a tile set and then just paste those into there. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start by uploading our floor spikes first. So we'll start with the right. Start with the right one. So our first default one will be the right spike on the floor. Add an animation, and we just call this one floor right. Add an animation. We'll call this one floor left. Animation, or we'll call this one will be floor double, and then floor left. I guess I could have just drug it around. But whatever. I have my own way of doing things. We'll do floor double, and then floor left. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll add 3 more animations. This will be wall left, wall left, bottom. We're going to do walls. We're going to flip the wall sprites and just make one for either direction. And so we're going to do left double, and then wall left top, and then 3 more animations. And then instead of left, we're just replacing this with right. Can you please do what I asked you to do? Thank you. All right. And then for now, we'll just do the left side, and we'll work on just those until we can... I'll just not be lazy and do it now. I want to be lazy because it's the way I do, but it's not the right way to do. So we're going to do it the right way. There we go. Ta-da! And now we're just going to control-click those and add them to our little list here. There we go. I was like, this doesn't quite look right. I fixed it. All right. And then we're going to go back and export selected, and it'll be right bottom. Oh, I just saved those in the... Alex! All right. I saved those into the original folder. I didn't fix the save location. So back to the G drive. Back into the asset packs. Back into lore, tile set. Grab these. Put them in there. Did I not grab all of them? Right. No! How did I do that? What just happened there? The last one. I left it behind. I need to get better organized. This is ridiculous. Alright. There we go. What was I doing? Wall left, bottom. Wait. Wall, yeah, okay. Wall, bottom. Or spike. Lower. I need it. My naming conventions are all over the place. This is what happens when you let a monkey name your file system. Someone needs to fire that guy. Alright. So by adding all of these as independent animations, we can now add our spikes anywhere and just change their animation to represent the collision that we need. And so we can just check for collisions with spikes. These are hazardous, right? So we can duplicate this and let's see here. We'll rotate it to the right direction, and then we can just duplicate. Maybe we want to add some spikes here. We'll add a platform right there. We'll duplicate all of these. So we're just going to select all of them with shift click. Make sure you add each one. You can shift drag if you want. It's not very reliable. Hold control and you'll do that. And then all we need to do is in unison change all of these to the right animation. Make sure they're on the right layer, which is base layer. Perfect. Now if we preview this, right, nothing's going to happen. We're going to be able to grab the wall if I do it right. Okay. I always struggle with this wall, and I'm not sure why. Can I even? What is going on? Oh. I'm just dumb and wasn't pressing my own right button. Okay, there we go. So, now we need to add a collision check to kill the player, and we already have a reset for the room, which is the R key. So effectively what we're going to do is we're going to now make a spawn location, right? The room, I actually kind of like the way that when the player falls, it like ripples the water at the start. That's kind of cool. But it only works on respawn, which is kind of interesting. Interesting. Anyways, get that. How come I can't stick to you? I always struggle with this wall. I don't know what my deal is. Okay. Yeah. What? Grab the wall, monkey! Weird. After I restart my game, I can't wall jump anymore. Hmm. That's a bug. Interesting. Because now I can wall jump. Yeah. So I thought. Yeah. What the heck? I gotta make that better. I can't even... I'm the developer and I can't even stick my own wall jumps. What is going on? Get on the wall! Thank you. I feel like I have to, like, have force? What is this? Ah, I just jumped out of the map. Good thing the water caught me. We're going to add a swim animation, too. But, anyways. Because I think we're going to add diving. That's one thing that Celeste doesn't do that I think is diving. And I think it'd be fun to do a couple underwater levels where you have, like, oxygen. You know? Anyways, so what we're going to do now is we've already established the player's death animations. You are pressing the climb while falling. Yeah, did I not add it to my fall script? That might be what's happening. I already can climb because I haven't changed that. What would the what's up, Reborn, by the way? Sorry, I ignored you there for a second. Everybody, the developer of the extension I was talking about, what a genius, what a boss. What do I need to do to fix this, Reborn? So I switched over to the not hold version, just the tap, and having some issues. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if my climb uh, collision needs to be farther out from my player or what is going on there. Oh, maybe. Is that in your version? Because I have it in my jump script too. I need to be able to do it in any state. So what do I need to allow? Can climb? Like if I'm in the like because the second I press the climb key, I want to go into climbing. And then I want to be able to climb in any condition so long as I'm holding the climb key or have pressed the climb key. I I needed to not do that. I don't want to be in a falling condition to be able to grab because like I might be jumping towards an object and I might be jumping until I collide with the wall. So because of like timers and other like coyote time and things like that, I still need to be able to grab the wall and not be falling. Did you hard code it to be that way, or is it just in my coding that I have that because of key pressed? Oh, okay. Very good. Not sure where that would be. Where did you hide that? Do oh pre-events. Okay, thank you. I saw the thing at the top, but I was just looking at this. This is immensely interesting to me because I actually hadn't looked at it before. Ah, okay. Now I can't jump. We're gonna have to work on that too. Yeah, so when I took that off, now I can't jump without undoing the key. Huh. Interesting. Let's take a look here. So is it this section here? The forbid, well, hmm. Just trying to see what else you have stuck away in here. This is my first time actually like looking at some of these event sheets. Hmm. I thought that would have fixed that. Maybe not. Let's put that back, I guess. Like it won't let me press the jump key. My phone's blowing up. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's take a peek at that real quick. Not the wall. Stick. I can't stick. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Are you gonna let me create an event here? What the heck? Oh, holy cow. Alright. I'm not even in the right place. What happened? I lost track of my brain. I'm going to undo some of the things I just did because I don't know what I did. Okay. No, I'm in the right section. I'm not sure if that other forbid... I think that forbid is accurate. We don't want it to do that. Or maybe not. I guess I got to remove the other one too. Did I control Z too far? Yeah, interesting. So we do need it to abort the current jump. That's true. There we go. But then I can't I can jump, but I can't control myself. Which I think is interesting. I do want to move back to my held button. We're gonna go down here and go back to keep holding to climb. I think that'll help my brain a little bit in terms of so once I let go of the shift key, I can then control which actually works the way I would expect it to. I just want when I jump while I'm climbing, I'm going to set a key so that I don't keep climbing, which I had before. And I believe that this will fix that issue. Basically making it so that way there's a timer when I jump. There we go. That works exactly now as I expected. So now there's a timer that triggers when I'm holding shift. So that way when I jump off of a wall, there's a small delay before I can grab another one. And we're going to shrink that delay down to make it pretty small. So we're going to do a 0.125 timer. Just making sure that when I let go, I can control my character, but then jump to one platform to another. Okay. But then now it's broken. What did I do? I think I need to make... yeah. You know what? I think one of my issues is that my player's grab point is just too close. We're going to move this out a little bit. And this should allow me to grab the walls without having to press so far over. Okay. So it is requiring me to be in some forward motion. I can't just press shift to enter into the climb. I have to be pressing left or right key as well. Which is weird. That shouldn't be the case. Why is that happening? I'm in collision with a wall. that point is. Oh, is it? Good to know. Very good. Very good. That's what I wanted. All right. That's what's up. Woo! Do you guys see that jump? That was a really powerful jump. How did I do that? I want to do that again. Ugh. Oh, is it the second one? Well, that one did seemingly work, though. Oh, you're right. I guess that was perfect. What? Has to be, oh, duh. Point needs to be inside of climbable before the key is pressed. Only if you're using, oh yeah, right. Actually, we're going to turn that off too because I want that not to be the case. I can see why you would do that trigger in certain cases, but in the way that mine is set up, I don't want that to happen. There we go. Whoa! We went from one wall climb to another glorious wall climb on that edge, which is exactly the sort of... Yeah! Yeah, baby! We got progress. Thanks, Reborn. As always, you're a master. You're a genius. Ugh. All right, cool. Now to add death. Death and dismemberment. We're going to give our player. Now, I think now is the time for us, before I go too far here. What do you guys think? Should we add the new player sprite just to cohesify the thing? Or should we'll do that at the end? I don't know. I'm all jacked up on coffee this morning. Woo! Sweating. Give me a second here. I'm going to go get a glass of water, and I'll be right back. Okay. I have returned. Let's do this. So, collisions with spikes and death. Does our player have a health? Have we attached health yet to our player? I don't think so. Let's collapse all of these configurations. All right, time to add some health. Now, we could use the health extension. It would make dealing with health very easy, but it's got so many. We literally have 1 HP, so it feels unnecessary. But for the sake of convenience and teaching other people how to use this tool, we're gonna add it. Lasai, we're gonna add it. There you go. Health and damage. We don't need, well, we might be able to use it for other, we might do breakable walls. That's not a bad idea. Okay. We're going to add that. We're also going to add the fire bullet because those traps are going to need a fire bullet, so we can add that as well. And that should be good for now. So what we want to do is go to our player, go to behaviors, add the behavior, add the health behavior. And starting health is 1, max health is 1. We have no armor or anything else, so none of that needs to be dealt with. Beautiful. And maybe there's a way for us to get a shield later on. Maybe there's a power-up or something that we can get that'll give us 1 extra hit before we die. But overall, that's all we want to do. And then in the spikes, we're just going to check the collision mask and make sure that, yeah. So we need to use a custom collision mask for each of the animations, which is totally fine. We'll set this to 0 and set this one, oh, wrong one. Set this one to 0. That's not right. This one to 0. There we go. This one needs to be 0, 4, 4, 0. There we go. No, I don't want to have to do this for all of them. Why? I did this to myself. So all the 4s always need to be 0s, and then in this case, we need to bring down. Where did this point? Oh, there's like a random point there. Set this to 4. Set this to 4 or 8. This one to 4. Dude, I don't even know what I'm doing. What's going on? Brain? Brain? Can we function? Hello. No, 0. This one's 4. Good grief. Oh, I can click on the points and it highlights it. That's good. I like that. That would have been nice to know. Taught myself something new. Just making sure that these are right. Jeez Louise, man. I regret everything. That actually wasn't so bad. I guess I could just drag these around, eh? It's pretty snappy, actually. I forget that it's on a grid already, so... I was complaining for no real reason. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But we do need to make sure that all these collisions are appropriately set. Or we're going to have issues with our spikes. Every spike is going to be treated like an extreme hazard. We don't need that. In each direction. There we go. Okay. So now we apply that, and now we have the collisions. So in our gameplay scene, we can just add a new event group, and we're going to handle, even though it's only going to be like 1 line of code, at least in terms of the enemy state, or in this case, the traps logic. And then we're going to just create a new manager and call it trap manager. And all of our trap code is going to go underneath that. So we can just copy this, put it into our trap section, and change this to trap manager. All right. So in the game scene, when the player collides with a spike, and in this case we're going to actually make, before I continue here, we're going to go back to our game scene and we're going to make a new, we might need to make a group. Maybe there's different types of traps that we're not going to add underneath the same thing. And so we're just going to add a trap group and add the spikes to it. And this way we can target the group in here. So whenever we're in collision with any of the trap group, we want to damage the player. Apply damage. Apply 1 point of damage. It's fine. Default controls is fine. We don't have any shielding currently, but maybe we will. We don't have any armor. Maybe we will. No or yes is fine. So when we're in collision with it, apply 1 point of damage. And that, for now, is all of our code for a trap. We're going to add more logic later, shooting traps and stuff like that. But for now, just apply 1 point of damage, kill our player, effectively. And then in our player finite state machine, we are going to run a condition no matter what happens. And this is going to be our death. And for this one, we're not going to do an event group because we really just don't need to. Again, it's going to be like the traps where no matter what state we're in, so this is outside of all of our states, no matter what happens, when the player's health, when the player is dead, transform into the death script. In this case, change our player state to dead. So we're going to go into here. We're going to grab our player state, go back into our player finite state machine, and then we're just going to change this to dead. When we are dead, we're just going to add this here so we can take this when we are dead. Now we can also do this via the player is dead. This is saying basically the same thing, but because we're using a finite state machine, this is what happens. So rather than adding this into every single situation, this is no trigger. There's no condition here, except for when the game registers that he's dead, boom, go into the dead state no matter what state you're in. And then in this state, we want to change the player's animation to the play the death animation, and then when that's done, move over into the swirling animation. So, like I said before, we're going to add another sprite, and this one is going to be the checkpoint sprite. And we're going to create this with Piscal. We're going to make it a 8 by 8 object, resize it, and we're just going to make this like a white cube. Or a white little, okay, that is not white, that is translucent. There we go. We'll make it like a white circle dot thing and call this default. So now we can add a checkpoint, and so this is where we will respawn if we die. And we can set our player to roughly the same location. At the start, it's irrelevant. We can then create our player at the checkpoint now. If at checkpoint 1, create, be at checkpoint 1 or whatever. When we touch this, invisible object, do this thing. So that's going to be the checkpoint location of this level. And then we need to go to our player and add a animation called death. So we're going to add sprite, go to the player's animation set, so sprites player, and then, oh no, I added the background to all of these sprites. Okay, we're just going to turn the background off and then re-export these sprites. So we'll go file export, selected, no, file export animation, the death animation, save, replace all. The orbs animation, replace all. And revive animation, replace all. We're going to need a tween on the player as well, because we're going to need to tween a position. Now that I'm thinking about it as well. So we'll go behaviors, add a behavior tween. And this will allow us to smoothly move our camera or our player object from wherever our death point is back to the checkpoint. So, all right. I think that's it in terms of current necessary changes to the game scene. Going back into our player state. Let's reduce these. Make sure I save that as well. All right. When the player is dead, we're going to trigger this once. And we're going to trigger the player's animation to be changed to the death animation. And then when the player's animation is death, by name is death, we're going to disable movement. So now that we're in the death state, now I could just create a script for this, but it's going to be very little logic. And normally I would, but in this demo, I don't think we need to. I think later when I'm off stream, I will condense that down, but I think it's good for you guys to see that you can program it in this place as well. It's just not as organized as I normally would do it. So anyways, so now that the animation is dead, we want to change the animation while we're dead to disable the behavior. So behavior, deactivate or activate a behavior, and we're going to deactivate the advanced jump. We're going to activate the... I don't like that it says activate behavior, no, but whatever. Same thing. The horizontal dash, as well as the player input. Actually, all of our player controls no longer work when we change into a cutscene. So what we might do is when we're dead, switch into we're dead, right? So we're going to move this out. Not only are we dead, but we're going to change the cutscene to 1, and that'll just disable all of our controls without needing to do this. So, when the animation is death, we're going to cutscene 1, so variable. This is a global variable, I believe. Yep, game state cutscene. So we're going to go global variable. It is a text variable, or it's a number variable, and it is cutscene, and we're going to set it to 1. And I actually need to, I didn't mean to do that. It needs to be right here. So we're going to go to death, and then we're going to set the game scene 1. So then we can go back to game scene 1 or cutscene in this particular scenario. And then now this will run, right? So we're going to trigger death when the animation is death and is finished. Animation finished, because it's not a loop. Death isn't a loop. We're going to then, after that's done, transition our player into the orbs animation. So animation by name. I must have forgot to name that one. or I forgot to add it, which is both very possible. Oh, yeah. So we have death. We need animation for orbs. And then another animation for respawn. So in our death animation, we can now finally add the YouTube lore sprites player. This is death first, isn't it? Yeah, death. No loop. So this is going to happen. It's going to play this. And then it's going to go into the orbs, which is a loop. So then add a sprite, go to orbs. Oh, don't mind me, guys. I'm slowly dying here. Death, orbs, let's see. Death, orbs, and then respawn. Add animation. None of these should be over 4 frames. So what happened? This part happened. There we go. Okay. And then respawn is also not a loop. So just the orbs. So now when we die in our game, why did that not... Wait, what? Well, one, we need to abort everything we're doing, right? But that should have... What? Don't worry. It helps if I actually set it properly, for one. There we go. And now I can't move. So that was what was supposed to happen. And then we need to hide that guy. We don't need that. When the animation is orbs, all of this needs to actually still be underneath the is dead state. So we're alive. Bleh, we died. But we can still jump. How can we jump while we're dead? Okay, but now it didn't. What? Oh, it's because I was in the water. And it had okay. So when we die, we need to set our player's movement speed. We need to stop everything we're doing. So we will abort. If we die, we'll abort a dash. We'll abort a jump. Abort jump. We're going to set our movement speed to 0. Let's see. We're going to remove gravity. Set gravity to 0. Let's see what happens now. I need to stop the deceleration. Whoa! And I need to change the speed. There we go. So that's pretty good, right? So let's preview that again. So it should happen right where we die, which is perfect. When we die, I'm going to shake the screen. Let's add a little bit of game juice. Shake. And I think we just do camera shake. Yeah. No reason to make this anything more than we need. So I think that when we enter the dead state, or when the player is dead, let's do a brief screen shake. So shake camera. For... Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the ghost as well. We're going to shake the camera for a second. We're going to ease into it. And ease out of it. I feel like that really adds some juice. And then we'll do a little bit more when the player's dead. So we're going to change the player's X position. Or we're going to away, separate. We're going to then separate the player from the trap. And that's just to make sure that, and we're going to move that at the top. We're going to make sure that when our player dies, we should no longer be in collision. Maybe not. Maybe because of the 0 movement speed, it's going to completely debunk that, but that's okay. And then let's, when we die, let's remove that action, clone, or reflection, actually. We're going to add reflection. We're going to delete the shadow clones as well that are linked to the player when we die, as well as disable reflection. Reflection. Disable behavior. What the heck? I thought it was a thing on the player. Maybe not. We need to go to the water. And... it won't let me select the behavior. I thought reflect was part of... I don't want to add reflection to this player. I want to remove it. I would have thought... Wait, reflection is then a behavior, isn't it? Quoi? No, it's a scene behavior. What? How do those work? Give me a second. I gotta wrap my brain around that for a second. If the player... I would have thought... Reflection isn't a Reborn. I think we're gonna have to add in my script. Is that a particle manager? Create a reflection of player. I think I just delete the reflection object. I might be able to do that. No, because then it's not like. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go into the darn extension script. Okay. Reflection. See, because it's checking it to see if it isn't visible, then hide it. But I want the dead parameter. But I don't. We can't add dead into. Yeah. So I just need to create a remove function. It doesn't really matter. And then in this particular one, if the primary object is visible. Oh, we just need to check like a bool, right? So action parameter 1. I'm trying to understand how these things are created. No, oops. Remove, delete, sorry. Is it delete? Destroy. Delete the object, and the object is the reflect object. That should do it? No? Do I have to define that somewhere? How do we do that? How does this work? Oh, in parameters. Oh. Oh, very cool. Okay. I'm just trying to look at. So in the function parameters, add a parameter object. It's a sprite, I imagine. Right? Same thing. when the player is dead, remove the reflect object. I gotta add a sentence into that, so it doesn't look so blank. Open an editor. How we fix that, right? There we go. Let's see if that works. I deleted myself. What did I do? Actually, what is it? It is a sprite, the reflection object. I would imagine that I could just delete it this way, but apparently not. I'm not understanding what I'm doing wrong here. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how? Why? And I think it has to do with the parameters that I'm passing through, right? For object sprite. Can I access these? It's not. That's the weird part. The reflection object itself becomes the shadow clone. But maybe if I just delete the shadow clones, that'll work? No. Because when we initialize in the particles, here we go. I don't. Oh, I have an idea. Aha! I'm a genius. Okay. it's not. It's not great. All right. All right. It's not fantastic, but it'll work. So, whatever. Now, once we are in orbs, so now once the animation is orbs, we want to tween the player. Tween object position, so tween respawn to checkpoint over 2 seconds. Ah, okay, that's slow. We want to do it by a modulated distance. So I want the time in which it takes. I don't think quad is right. Ah, it's gonna take a decade if I do that. Uh, whoa. Okay, that's a little nuts. Okay, that doesn't that doesn't work at all. Not at all. And also, I was thinking about it in our edit point. I need to make sure that in our climb, not our climb, in our death and everything else, we need to make sure that our origin point is changed to make it actually line up properly. So let's try this again. All right, we're just going to go linear because that's nuts. I don't know what we're going to do with that. Bounce, swing two. I don't even know. What does elastic mean? Oh, I don't like that. Uh, so now it won't matter where I die. It should only take 2 seconds or like less than 2 seconds to get to. So it'll be faster elsewhere, basically. So let's move these over and see how this works. Blah. Okay, that reflection, however, didn't go away when I died there. So when I die in my particle manager, How do I target that freaking thing? Ugh. I'm gonna have to actually add that behavior to it because I thought when I died, well, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going about this a weird way. I was trying to make it precise, but I don't need to do that. We can do in this case, we can draw it at 0, 0. Not that it really matters, and then we can delete it on touch, and then make the minimal distance the 100 pixels, so it'll die no matter where it'll. Yeah, there we go. And actually, we need to make it more than that. We're gonna make it 300, which is way bigger than the screen. And there we go. Once we are, let's see here. Then we're going to change the animation to respawn. We're going to trigger that once. And then similarly, we're going to move this out over here. And when hey, thanks for the love. When we're at the respawn and it is finished, change the player's animation back to idle. And then we're going to trigger the cutscene back to 0. And we're going to change the player's health back to 1. Now we should be able to recontrol our player. Let's see what happens. We die. We go back. We respawn. And I can't control my player. Oh, we need to leave the dead state. Yeah. Instead of changing the animation, we'll just change the player's state, because the idle state will return us back to our controls. Whoa! And then we need to reconfigure our player's gravity and everything. How do we reinitialize the... right here. We don't actually need to do this anymore. I guess we do. We'll change the... Isn't there a way to, like, configure... Revert configuration? Oh, interesting. That's actually really handy. We're going to want to configure this. But for now, we can just go back into our player and reset those. So our gravity... It's 1,000. So I guess it really doesn't matter. So we need to go back here. Actually, I don't even know that we need to change the gravity. We just need to change our horizontal speed to nothing. Yeah, we do. All right. All right, let's fix the order in which that happens. Why is it taking so long? Why is it? Oh, it's because the easing is still happening, isn't it? The tween. We can just stop the tween. Hello? Oh, there we go. Woo! Blah! All right, and then we need to change the collision shape. That's what's happening with the orbs. So we're going to go back to the player, go to our collision masks, and then go down to death. And we're going to change this collision box to be huge, actually. The reason why I want to do this is to just make sure that we get pushed away the appropriate amount, and then orbs needs to be the same thing. I want orbs to be roughly we'll just go full size. I think we'll respawn a little bit faster than I was. I'll just change the tweening time. That's fine. And then respawn as well, because the origin's all the same, right? So as long as our collision boxes are okay, most of these don't even need a collision box, really. So, bleh. And now as soon as we touch it right there we go. That feels so much better. Good game juice. Okay, when we die, though, we are going to disable the platformer behavior. And that way we can move through objects, so we got stuck. So when we are dead, behavior, disable. the platformer object, and then we're going to reactivate it as we respawn. That should be what we need. What the heck? Let's just say that while I'm dead, deactivate. I don't know why I did that. Oh, shoot. Can't control my game scene, didn't get switched back. I'll do that. I'll fix that bug later. And then we're going to, now that we know that the orb works like that, we're going to move it backwards and just place it in a better position to respawn to give us that quality of life feel. There we go. And boop. Excellent. Oh, it's because we're in collision with, and the player is not dead. So only when we are dead, apply any sort of collision. Oops, that's the wrong thing. It's in. We only need to do this once. But also, where was that? It's not really, it's not a collision object anyways. What am I getting stuck on? Oh, it's the move away from the trap group that's killing me. It's alright. There we go. That should fix that problem. It was... Alright, now let's make sure that the collision checkpoint has one, a good mask, but two, I realized that the origin was way up top, and therefore we weren't hitting our objective right. And now we should move right to the center position of it. And what we can do actually is remove, just to add a little bit more game juice to the way that we're handling this. Let's see here. Let's see here. Tween to the position. That should fix that problem. Now it should move all the way to the X no matter what happens. Okay. I thought it would have moved me to the origin point. What the heck? Queens and I don't really get along. So this is fine. But why isn't it going to the checkpoint's XY position? That's the problem that what? The XY is right here. Checkpoint, the origin and center are the same location. We're going to add a new point to the player when the respawn when the respawn point all right, when the player's point is inside, when the oh shoot. Oh. Maybe I should make that orb a little bit bigger? And maybe increase the collision mask a little bit. Not by much, just like one in every direction, maybe one or two. We'll go two. As long as that collision point is inside of that orb, Respawn. There we go. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to tween a little bit faster. I think that tween's just a smidge too slow. So we're just going to go to 1 second. I think that extra quarter of a second is slowing it down. All right. Whoa, so now we have our dashes, and yeah, we did it. See if we can climb up this side. Yeah. We're gonna increase our climb speed. There we go. Just a little bit. I almost died right there. Oh, I just ledge jumped. What happened there? So if I hold space after a jump and I run towards an edge, it auto jumps, which actually is kind of handy. But at the same time, that could kill the crap out of you if you're not paying attention. I might change that. Alright, let's change that wall climbing speed. Just a little bit. Player. Duration. Wall climbing speed. Let's do 35. We're going to have 5 seconds of stamina. We'll do... Yeah, 5 seconds is a lot of stamina, actually. And then that's what happens when you fall. It should have reset my stamina, though. Allow. Alright. When in the idle state... let's go player, finite state machine. We're going to go to our player idle. And the first thing that we're going to do once we enter our idle state, we're going to set the player's climb duration. Reset the climb duration. So as soon as I touch the ground again, I should be able to reset my climb. Oops. Hello. There we go. All right, that works. Pretty happy about that. All right, everyone. Well, actually, I think that is going to conclude today's stream on this. I'm going to do a little bit of work to prepare us for next week. I'm going to finish up the tile set, and then move all the animations over, and then we'll go through the last bit of collectibles and room generation in the next video, and that'll be the end of our series. So it'll be 3 parts, and then I will make a YouTube tutorial series that'll probably be 5 episodes long, maybe, you know, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes an episode, just to show what we're doing here. But overall, we have the basic mechanics that we need. And so I think I might release this as it currently is, with a different sprite animation for people to have a template. At least once I get the final touches in order. The sprite set will be available for sale later on itch, if you guys are interested in that. But I feel like... Oh, but no sound effect? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we could do a game... Maybe we should do Xtel. Maybe we should do a whole Game Juice episode. Maybe the next one will be about polishing the game, adding in all those really nice features, including sound effects and... Yeah. I think that's what I want to do. One of these things. I gotta make sure that every time we enter... Yeah. It's like... Just like, but I'm gonna do like, you know, I'll actually I'll do a whole sound pack for the game, just because I'm a voice actor and all that. And I also need to make sure that while we're in the climb state, no matter what button is being pressed, the minute we enter that state, oh, I see, it's because the space button is being held. Wah, wah, wah. I think we're going to change the jump format of the player behavior to press once to climb again. And that'll just allow us to... I only have to touch the button once, at least while we're in the air. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Now I don't. Changing this. I changed my mind. I'm an adult. I'm allowed to. Anyways. I'm excited to get this project done and uploaded for everybody to be able to use this as a template. But yeah, I wanna get a little bit more art done so I can put that on itch. Otherwise, I really don't feel like there's too much more for us to do in terms of a Celeste style. The only big things that I can think of that are in that style of game that we don't currently have, other than different traps and whatnot, are the collectibles. So collectibles, art, dialogue. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we need to do a whole dialogue tutorial. All right, we've got a couple more sessions to do. All right, but I'm gonna do a little bit of research and figuring out the best way for us to go about adding in dialogues. I haven't used Yarn yet, so I'm gonna spend a little bit of time off stream learning that this weekend. So in the next episode, we can expect Yarn and Game Juice. I think those are the two factors. So I'll add sprites in the meantime. So the next time you guys see it, there should be some level art done. And I'll go through, of course, how to use LDTK and set that up as well. But I do have a tutorial on how to do that already on YouTube. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for stopping in. I'm going to leave off here so I can get some other stuff done today. But I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.